2021. Can I please ask everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Good evening, everyone. Can I get a motion to open the meeting for October 18th, 2021?
I'll make that motion.
Cologne,
Bring him to second.
Cologne, a second. Call the question.
Bring him, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay, so moved. Couple of announcements before we get to recognizing John Battaglia from the Monroe Parks Commission. So this Saturday, the 23rd, we're going to be hosting our first trunk or treat. It will be out in this parking lot, and we'll have some items on the patio as well. I think she has 24 or 25 businesses, municipal agencies, what have you, that will be here. Jenny from the Greater Monroe Chamber of Commerce is working with our town clerk Val and Dory Houle to get this off, and so far so good. Our maintenance staff this morning actually transferred all the corn stalks from the food truck festival over to the parking lot. So we're on the way to a great event. It's going to be this Saturday from 5 to 8, and we're looking forward to making it a great evening for the kids. I guess the expectation is between 275 and 300 children that'll be here. So yeah. So anyway, you want to do a little quick recap of the food truck festival?
Absolutely. So I think it was another great event on Saturday. We had 20 food trucks, 14 of them almost sold out of food, came real close. So that was successful. Obviously, the weather cut us off at 5, but all the bands got to play. I think we raised a good amount of money. We probably don't have a number yet, but I think it was...
the number's $1,024 for each VFW post.
Right? Yeah, the weather held out till 5, so it was obviously it was well supported by the community again, so we'll see you next June. We'll be back.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everyone here. I know Rick and Mary were down at our tent helping out. Mr. McGinn ended up in the beer garden for about 6.5 hours. Although you weren't drinking, you were pouring. Thank you very much.
It was at the end.
Yeah, a couple other people that helped out were Steve Daw, Christine and Jeff Manson.
Yep. Val was great, getting constant contact.
Yeah, Val was awesome the whole day. I know you were there, a good 10 hours, so thank you.
Thank you.
We had, actually, our daughter Gina helped out in the beer tent. And we had some trucks that were just over the top. The Tilted Skillet, what's the name of the fried chicken place?
Fried chicken, yeah, just the fried chicken truck. Came all the way from Manhattan, just was overwhelmed with how organized the event was and how successful of an event it really turned out to be.
The gentleman from the Tilted Skillet is a chef at the Ritz, right?
Yep.
Ritz, and he had said to me as we were leaving, I thanked him for coming, and he said, we've been to about 20 food trucks this year, and yours by far is the most organized, and it was great. Our highway was, as dedicated as always. And I will tell you that our maintenance, Victor had a vacation plan, so he couldn't be there, but Webster at 7 o'clock was soaking wet and did not stop making sure everything was cleaned
Worked hard
up.
that day for sure.
So, and always kudos to Jen and Amory, who do a great job with the organizational aspect of it, getting things done. So that was great. Okay, up next, So, item 3.2 is, acknowledging Steve Dunn is pushed off to November 3rd. He had a prior commitment, could not be here. But this evening, I'm going to speak first before we go out there, John. So I had the pleasure of working with John on the Park Commission for 15 of his 21 years. And he was administrative chair when I was there, and he did a phenomenal job, always looking out for the best interests of the children of the community, always trying to develop the arts in our community, and he's a wonderful person. And my relationship with him goes back to when he owned the Three Bears. I remember stopping in, and I don't know if you remember this, John, but I stopped in representing Pop Warner probably sometime around 85 or 86. And I asked him if he would do a promotion for the league. And he was kind enough to say, absolutely. We printed out a card, which was, I don't remember what it was. It was, a specific amount off, a cone, and if you spent a certain amount. But it was so easy to get him to, commit to helping out the community. And that's how he was. And being on the Park Commission is a volunteer commitment. There's no money paid, there's no stipend. And I know him and his wife Carol have been, great community members for a long time. I'm glad you're on the right side of the border of Monroe and Chester. You're the last house, right? The last house as you go up Lake Region Boulevard. So I just want to say it was an honor for me to work with you for all those years. Your commitment to the community has never wavered. We were sorry to see you go. But I totally understand that when you have grandchildren, which I have one now, and you had always said to me it's a totally different experience, that your life changes and a lot of your commitments change. So on behalf of the town, I want to thank you for all you've done. I'd like to come up. We'd like to present you with an award. And I will tell you this. Anne-Marie Morris is sorry she couldn't be here this evening. She had a prior commitment that she had canceled twice already, and she said, I don't think I'm going to be able to cancel it tonight. So she expressed her, her love and gratitude for you for all those years on the commission. Does everyone want to go out? So, okay, come on over here. So you made a little joke here that's not a drawing of you, and I don't know if you remember, but I think when Joe turned 50, I had called you up. You were doing caricatures at the time, and there's a caricature that still hangs in his office of Joe with his clean-cut look now and a ponytail that he used to have nailed to the wall, which go back to the 80s. That's what Joe was, and a beard too, right? Beard too. So on behalf of the town, we'd like to present you with this artwork that was made by Marilyn Vanderpool. It's the Horseshoe Falls, and it says, "The heart of a volunteer is not measured in size, but by the depth of commitment to make a difference in the lives of others. With grateful appreciation for 21 years of dedicated service to the Monroe Joint Parks and Recreation Commission, October 2021. You want to speak?
No, this is really nice, and I know Marilyn, so this is even more meaningful. It's nice to hear these things while you're still alive. volunteerism is what this is all about, all right? You don't spend 15, 20 years doing something without loving it, and for a reason. And the reason is to volunteer, to be able to give what you have to other people. Thank you.
Carol, can you come up for the picture? Mayor, you want to come up as well? No, you contribute half to the park. Come on. Come on, Mr. Mayor.
He wants you in the picture. Now you got to come. Can't say no.
Right.
You gotta play it straight sometimes.
Oh, thanks, Sal.
Valerie reminded me.
Good night. Anthony, take care. I know what you're saying.
Okay. All right, thanks everyone for their patience. Next item on the agenda is the motion to open up the continuation of the public hearing regarding a proposed amendment to local law D-V1, amending Chapter 57 zoning to amend the special permit requirements applicable to hotels. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Second, Councilman McGinn. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Malone, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved.
No one has signed up for public comment.
No one? Well, yeah, you just come up and,
So I'll give it to you in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Basically, we looked at, there's obviously a very large interest in hotels in the area because of area
Lego.
attractions,
Right. Legoland.
Primarily, the commons, and there's definitely a lack of occupancy, hotel occupancy options for people.
Right.
So when we looked at what the national brands look for in a hotel, basically it was a 3 or 4 story structure, with 80-plus rooms on roughly 2 to 3 acres. Our current zoning, to build that model, that seems to be the common model for most of these national chains,
Right.
would require 10-plus acres to build that same hotel, which of course, within our, LI and HI zones, we don't have too much of that, or very little of that, actually.
Right.
So in keeping with what is the standard right now, we looked at it, and there was also an issue with height requirement, 40 feet as opposed to 40, which is the current, as opposed to going to 50, which you need 12 feet per floor if you're going to put in HVAC and all the other support systems. So anyway, that's what the impetus is for doing this, and that's why we started this process.
So you're going to make the,
For the record, please just state your name.
oh, sorry, Julia Cole, Arrow Park.
Is the mic on?
I think so, it sounds like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Now you got to speak into the mic.
Sorry, I wasn't speaking into the mic. So you're talking about making the acreage for a hotel smaller? No,
Yeah.
larger.
No,
Smaller
smaller
in footprint.
within certain zoning, within the LI and the HI zoning districts, which are primarily and GB, which are primarily our business strips, if you
Okay.
want to call it that.
All right,
yeah.
so instead of 10 acres, you're going to go down to what the standard is?
Right, just to
which is-
kind of to A, attract, and B, for some of these chains to have the ability to build a hotel. For us, it's a great rateable. It's
I know,
pretty
it
low
makes money,
maintenance.
yeah.
And it's something,
Just
anything that we can do
occupancy
to
tax.
lower the taxpayers, the homeowners, that's always good, so.
Okay, all right, great, thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just started the process, so it's going to be, it's going to take some time to, finally adopt it. There'll be tons of public hearings and lots of opportunity for members of the community to express their, wishes and concerns or support, so.
Anybody else have anything to say? No? Okay, I'll make a motion to keep open the continuation of the public hearing regarding proposed amendments to local law D-V1, amending Chapter 57 to amend the special permit requirements applicable to hotels on November 3rd at 7 p.m. or immediately thereafter.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All right.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Again,
Okay, so moved. I'll make a motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for proposed local law A-V1, amendment to Chapter 57 of the Town Code to regulate rental properties and transient housing.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All right.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Again,
So moved. Anybody sign up to speak?
No public comment.
No? Councilman Cologne, McGinn, did you want to?
Yeah, I mean, right
Give an
now, we're
update.
still just waiting on the county to do their GML review, and once we get that back from them, I think we're probably at the 30-day mark, but maybe we'll have Max reach out to the county, our planner, Max Stock, just to kind of see where we are with that. And
Still have those two items that we were looking to modify?
yes, the one was the owner occupancy and that was one, and then the other was, what was the other? Was it the walkway or?
I think it was the walkway,
Yeah,
Mary
the
had brought up,
Mary,
right?
so yeah, those would have to be incorporated into, that would have to be incorporated into it before we passed it. And again, once it is, there'll be a 5 to 6 month grace period for people to come into compliance and do what they need to do, register to, before the law kicks in. So we're not looking to play gotcha or make it difficult for people, so.
Else want to speak?
Hey, everyone, good to see you.
You.
Followed this along, obviously. The only thing you mentioned was the owner occupancy. You may have discussed it last time, but what provision was that?
So basically, we had and I'm not sure if you were here or not, but at one of the previous public meetings, hearings, a gentleman came up that has a residence that he rents as an Airbnb, and he is on 15 acres or 10 acres. He's on a pretty sizable piece of land, and I think he's got like a 5-bedroom house. And what he was looking for was a greater
Occupancy.
instead of the two persons per bedroom that
plus
was
two.
proposed in the law. What's that?
A 2-person per bedroom
Right.
plus 2.
So then we were looking to look, and the kind of the thing that's a little different with him is that he lives on the premise, so he's got a cottage or whatever, so when he rents it out, he's there. And to us, that kind of would make us think that maybe that would be something that would allow for a greater occupancy above. So that's just something we are looking to revise. And the other, and also the Tony, what's the woman from Osseo Park? She has like a bunkhouse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Camille. Yeah, she has a bunkhouse, and we were just kind of trying to figure that into it, because obviously, all right, you come up there, you got 4 kids, you throw them into the bunk beds. Something that would kind of take that into account.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bunk
Yeah,
beds
just,
make a
you
lot of
know.
sense for the kids.
Yeah.
Trying to work with the people to
Yeah.
make things a little easier, that's all.
I think it's fantastic, yeah.
Those are the 2 provisions that we just have to tighten up, and then have the local law itself kind of cleaned up so that it's, good to go.
There's 6 sides to everything,
They've occupied 8 sides
Yeah.
to everything.
including your vest.
Wow, you're on fire lately.
Don't get them started now.
I want you to know I shot 20 over par today with this vest.
Well, there you go. Take it out and burn it.
I only played 9 holes though, so it's not that great.
Where did you golf?
Today, I'm down at Marshall, but we played right here at Tequila's at the Orange County Country Club.
Yeah. Monroe Country Club.
I
yeah.
know.
A month ago. He won by a stroke.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you all. Good to
All
see
right,
All right,
thanks a lot.
thank you very much.
Great night.
Be patient. We're getting there. Yeah.
Okay.
Tortoise steps.
I'll make a motion to keep open the continuation of the public hearing for proposed local law, A-V1, amendment to Chapter 57 in the Town Code to regulate rental properties and transient housing on November 3rd at 7 p.m. or immediately thereafter.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All night.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Begin aye.
Okay, motion to open the continuation of the public hearing for proposed Arrow Park Water District.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
All night.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Begin aye.
So moved. Anybody sign up to speak?
Nadia Perry and Julia Cole.
If you want to come up at the same time, that's fine. Just state, if you could both state your names and
Speak
where
directly
where
into
you're
the mic.
from.
Julia Cole.
And I'm Nadia Perry.
Okay, bye, guys, thank you.
Good night, guys.
Okay. So we're here, and we hope that you will, move forward with the Water District, and we look forward to working with you to make it happen.
Mary, do you have, I have a little update, but I don't know, did you have anything, Mary?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, so right now, we're kind of at a standstill, and I'll explain why. So the yearly cost for each resident, if we went with a 30-year bond at approximately 4% interest, would be somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,900. That's without getting a grant.
Right.
If we ended up getting a WIA grant, which would be up to 60% of the cost, that would lower it to about $1,500 to $1,600 per year for each resident there. Right now, the actual estimate was $2,661,000 to refurbish the system. The hesitation that I have in moving this forward right now, and I spoke to council today on it, is if we go forward, and I want to talk to our bond counsel first, if we go forward with this and pass a resolution for that amount, and then it goes over the amount,
Right.
it creates issues for us going forward. We'd have to come back and pass another resolution, I believe wait another time period as well.
You'd have to go through the bond process again
Yeah.
on that.
So I reached out to Sean Arnott, and he's going to double-check the numbers on it, because obviously with COVID and the fact that you're waiting for supplies, equipment, products, there's a possibility it's going to be an adjustment on it. Now, we can actually, correct me if I'm wrong, Council, we can actually pass a resolution on the bond that is $4 million. That doesn't mean we have to borrow $4 million.
Right.
We can borrow up to $4 million.
That's correct. You would state the maximum amount that would need to be borrowed, but you can always borrow less than that.
So I want to talk to our bond counsel. I was not able to get a hold of them today. I never called them today. I just couldn't get out of what was going on. But I'll reach out to them this week, and we'll see where we stand with that.
Okay. I mean,
Supervisor Cardone, I have one comment. When I had spoken to Sean, it wasn't per resident, it was per tax lot. So maybe we could clarify that as well.
that
Yes.
actually
Yeah,
is
because
correct.
some people have a house
That
on
is
2
correct.
lots.
You're right. It's
Right.
exact.
Poor terminology on my part. Yes, per tax lot. Anything else? Any other questions?
Nothing, so when do you think you will actually be making a vote, or we just going to continue this again, or?
Yeah, we're continuing this till November 3rd.
Okay.
And I'll hopefully have some answers there of the best approach.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, we have concerns about that as well, given the COVID and what we're hearing about all the costs.
Yeah, so
it's,
what'll happen, we'll pass the bond resolution. We'll then give you those numbers based on what we feel the cost of the project is. Might not necessarily be the top, amount that we
Right,
passed the resolution for. And then we would we'd close the public hearing, send letters out to the residents, make sure everybody's, and lot owners, make sure,
Bless you.
bless you, make sure everybody's on board with it, and then move forward with the process.
So in other words, that's what happens now. You would have to get the bond. We pass the resolution for some number. You send a letter to the residents to say,
As long as the majority of the residents are in favor of this, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Because it's really them that are footing the bill for everything. So I don't want to make a decision on somebody footing that amount of money. I don't think this board does either. And, yeah,
I know,
yeah,
it is a lot of money, yeah.
so,
All right, well,
Yeah, and there's, just so you know, the process is after the public hearing, there's something called an order that has to be drafted, and that order needs to have correct numbers in it in terms of the maximum expense, the big number that you just talked about, 2.6 million, if that's the number, and then the cost per lot, number, that has to be in that order, and it needs to be accurate when we approve it.
okay,
right?
yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for
ladies.
being
Thank
here.
you. Have a good evening.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, you do.
Anybody?
Yep. Yep, but we don't want to talk about that tonight. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure.
Vote,
she votes.
vote early and vote often. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank
I'm not
you.
up for election, so I can say those things, yeah.
Thank you very much, though.
Right side of the board is on
Yeah, yeah.
cruise control here.
Okay, I'll make a motion to keep open the continuation of public hearing for the proposed Arrow Park Water District, November 3rd at 7 PM or immediately thereafter.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Hello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. Motion to open the continuation of public hearing regarding the proposed amendments to local law E-V1, amending Chapter 57 to establish a two-family dwelling overlay for the area of the town of Monroe, north of Route 17. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
Anybody signed up? No, right?
Did you vote, Mike?
What?
Did you vote?
Oh, McKinn, aye, I'm sorry.
Okay. Anybody sign up?
Sorry.
No public comment.
No? There's no update either.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we're just waiting for the planner to provide some information based on some of the statements that people made during the public hearing about what properties would qualify and what properties wouldn't. So hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have a better handle on that. So we'll take it from there.
I believe he's drawing up a map possibly with more detail.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had the map, and it was, I thought it was pretty detailed. Some people in the audience apparently did not. But he's going to do an analysis because some people were saying, oh, like 95% of the lots wouldn't apply, and I know that that's probably not the case, and so did he. But we'll have a little more clarity at the next meeting.
Also have to talk about the lot size because the septics and how it's improved, different things.
Well, yeah.
I got to talk to Max about that anyway, ask him some questions.
Yeah. I mean, listen, obviously, it all depends on, if the lot size obviously isn't large enough, that's one thing. But also, there's got to, the engineer has to approve it.
Right,
In other
and
words, you've got to be able to put a viable
system in, yeah.
And if you can't, then, that's not
it.
our
That's
fault.
what I'm
You know what I
saying, yeah.
mean?
That's what
We
I'm saying.
didn't, we didn't put the rocks there, 5,000 years ago, so.
The Swanee, I saw you there.
All right. Okay, I'll make a motion to keep open the continuation of public hearing regarding proposed amendments to a local law E-V1, amending Chapter 57 to establish a two-family dwelling overlay for the area of the town of Monroe north of Route 17.
Second.
On November, I'm gonna push this off to November 15th, 2021 at 7 p.m. or immediately thereafter.
Good idea.
Second it?
On a second.
No, Councilman McGinn.
Oh, okay.
I'll second you.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. Motion to open up the continuation of public hearing regarding proposed local law F-V1 opting out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and/or on-site cannabis consumption establishments within the town of Monroe. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay.
No public comment.
No public comment. Anybody have anything to add?
As far as I know, the state really doesn't have any true guidelines yet. They've approved legalization, but there's no real guidelines yet for us to even opt in or out of. I don't see anything. Do you?
No, but
I mean, there's nothing here. It's just-
there's nothing there. You can opt out and wait.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, just to opt in blindly without having
Oh.
something in front of you doesn't.
Yeah, it's a little,
Make much
it's
sense.
a little ridiculous. I agree with you.
So,
Yeah, all right. Anybody else? So I'd like to make a motion to opt out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and/or on-site cannabis consumption establishments, but I have to close the public hearing first, right?
Yeah, and
Yes.
then it's actually to adopt the law, the resolution. I can read that here. I mean, I emailed it, but I don't know if you have
Yeah,
that
so
on
let
your screen.
let me close the public hearing first,
Yep.
right? Okay, so I'll make a motion to close the public hearing regarding local law F-V1 opting out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and their on-site cannabis consumption establishments in the town of Monroe.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Now, I'll make a motion to opt out of allowing retail cannabis dispensaries and/or on-site cannabis consumption establishments within the town of Monroe.
I'll
If you
second.
could just word that we're adopting a local law to do that, not
And we will be adopting a local law
opt
to
out.
do that.
I will second.
I have a
Call the
question.
question?
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Now, in adopting a local law, that doesn't make it permanent. It just makes it till the point of what we know what's going on.
Yeah, so the process is, in order to opt out, you would need to pass the local law, which was what you have before you tonight, the resolution to adopt the local law. Then if you choose to opt in, basically you would have another local law public hearing to repeal the opt-out. So you have to, if you choose to opt out, you have to adopt a local law. That's the only way to do it.
Right. So, I mean, the state hasn't come up with any guidelines on anything as of this date, as far as I know, do you?
No, the board's only met recently for the first time, and they're not even talking about some of the issues that you'd probably expect. So
Right.
at this point, you know, there's no harm. You're not going to see any applications for this till into 2022, probably mid to late 2022 at this point. So you can always repeal this law next year if things change and for some reason you wanted to allow either dispensaries or lounges in the town. You're not stuck with this. But if you don't do this, the opt-out, then you cannot opt out after December 31st.
Right. I just want to make it clear to the public at large what we're doing.
Sure.
So, I mean, because we're opting out, but it's a wait-and-see attitude. Because once you opt in, you cannot back out, you cannot make changes.
Yeah, and then there's no, I mean, just to be clear for the public, there's no opting in. You either opt out or you're in just by doing nothing.
Right,
Right.
right.
So December 31st comes and a municipality hasn't opted out, they're in, and then they can't opt out.
Okay.
Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. All right, next item is to set the public hearing for the tax cap override local law. I would like to set the public hearing for November 3rd at 7 p.m. or immediately thereafter.
That-
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we need to adopt a resolution authorizing the property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law 3C. I will read the whereas section. So, all whereas paragraphs are incorporated herein by reference. Section 2, the town clerk is hereby directed to publish a notice of public hearing for the proposed adoption of a local law authorizing a property tax levy in excess of the limit established in General Municipal Law 3-C. The town clerk is authorized to publish notification for the public hearing to be held on November 3rd, 2021 at 7 p.m., and the town clerk is directed to proceed with all appropriate notifications and required publications of the notice of public hearing and proposed local law as required by law and as recommended by special counsel for the town. Section 3, the resolution shall be effective immediately. I'll make that motion.
Bingham, second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. All right. Next item is the acceptance of the October 4th, 2021 minutes. Anybody had a chance to read them?
I had, well, second for discussion.
Okay.
There's no transcript yet. Valerie, do you have an idea when that will be from the stenographer?
We actually just emailed that over later this afternoon.
Okay, so maybe
So-
we should table this until the next meeting so we can include those stenographers, because it include the public hearing comments.
Make a motion to table the October 4th approval of minutes till the next meeting on November 3rd.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Pancarello, aye.
Aye.
So moved. All right, before we get to the audit of claims, Helen is here. You were presented with the budget that we've worked on to date, and that was as of about 2 o'clock this afternoon. Right now, we are $4,195 below the tax cap limit, and we are looking at that number, we're looking at a 2.97% increase in the village home taxes and 2.33% in the town home taxes, which is it's anybody outside the village. some points to notice. The salaries and benefit numbers have not been added into this. Those increases are not in here. There are considerable electric costs associated with the solar farm that we have not added in here. There are some revenues that we're speaking of that are not in here, and then we have some additional expenses that we had spoken about that are not in here. So that said, the other aspect of the budget that I did not find, I found out, but I couldn't find the information, and I just went on the county's website today to find it. So the library number there, the item that's on the ballot is for $1,400,444, $444 and $325, $444,325. So that's an increase of $45,000 even, which I think represented a 3.2% increase. So other than that, anybody have any questions? Okay. I would hope by November 3rd we should have this finalized. Helen and Roberta have been working hard, in conjunction with myself to get this done. Once again, it's always a challenge, but we're finding ways to move things along. So, Ed? Oh, Helen. Nobody has any questions.
No bail? That's it? She's just walking out of here?
Yeah, it's walking out of here.
Welcome to New York City.
It's
One
New York,
free
you don't need a bail.
What's that?
Yeah.
One ticket, my free ticket out of here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, you can stay around if you want.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Night, Helen.
Hey, Helen.
Okay, thank you. Item 6.1, General Fund Abstract, containing item number 21-16, containing checks 27588 through 27688, totaling $304,962.20, and wires and transfer check number 344, totaling $1,196.15, for a total of $306,158.35. I'll make a motion to approve that.
On the second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ankarella, aye.
And I,
So moved. Escrow Fund Abstract. Escrow Fund Abstract number 21-12, containing checks 1996 through 1997, totaling $6,050 and no cents. I'll make a motion to approve that.
Bingham to second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ankarella, aye.
and I,
Okay, item 8.1 is a budget amendment. The Town of Monroe requests approval for...
Supervisor,
What's that?
7.1?
Oh, right, but, all right, I'm sorry, my agenda's backwards. So we're on 8.1 now, I'll go back to 7.1. So we request the approval to increase and reflect the actual available funds from CHIPS, and that amount is $190,280.06. So I'll make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scankarella, aye.
and I,
Okay. Item 7.1 is a transfer in the supervisor's equipment line, which is A000-1220-2000-00. And there's a $75 transfer, which would be transferred from supervisor's equipment to supervisor printing, advertising, and publications. And that's A000-1202-4102-00. And that's $75.
On the
second
second.
it.
Seconded by Councilman Cologne. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ankarella, aye.
And I,
Okay. Item 9.1, regarding the amendment to the employee handbook, section 702, to eliminate compensatory time, and then there's an amendment of the employee handbook to include section 902, a new policy on reproductive health decision-making as required by New York State law. Both of those are included in there. Anybody have any questions on them?
I just, the compensatory time, is that so people would, employees would not have the option of taking overtime and time as opposed to cash? Is that what that is?
It's more so about the fact that we have a 35-hour work week,
Okay.
and up to 40 hours, people were taking compensatory time on it. And so what was happening is their job descriptions conflicted with what was stated in here. Their job descriptions basically said that they weren't allowed to take.
Takes away that flexibility from the employee, is that what it does, basically?
Not only that, I think it makes everybody more productive.
Okay.
And that's, we spoke to HR consultants. They firmly felt it should not be in there, especially if it's in the job description.
Right.
So,
All right.
Is there any issue with this regarding like the union contracts, collective bargaining agreements we have, or?
no.
Okay.
Is one department possibly more affected than another? Do we know that?
I mean, it affects all departments. I mean, you had, the clerk's office had it, right? You ceased that last year, correct me? I'm trying to remember the procedure with that.
I'm sorry.
So did the clerk's office cease the compensatory time?
That was still in effect.
That was still in effect, okay. So there's that department, there's the planning and ZBA, and obviously building. It'll affect building too, so,
Three major departments.
yeah.
So just to be clear, if an employee does hours in excess of their 37 or 35, then their only option is to take that overtime in cash. And not.
Oh,
Not in time off,
no,
they have to
no,
take.
there's no overtime till you hit 40 hours.
Right, but anything after 40, they have to take the money instead of the time, right?
Yeah.
That's why I said it takes away a little bit of flexibility. Some people want the time more than... Everybody's different. It's okay. We don't have a decision. This is basically a state law now.
I mean,
In a state law, I believe, 40 hours.
yeah,
Yeah, but 40 hours, but what I'm
And
saying
we-
is that they have to take the money instead of the time.
after 40 hours,
Right.
yeah.
All right.
Motion to approve
Change.
change in employee handbook
All right, Colonna second.
Rick will have seconded it, but it's regarding the overtime / reproductive health decision-making as required by New York State law. Second, Councilman Cologne. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Colonna, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Ankarella, aye.
Can I?
So moved. Okay. So, next item up is tax collector. So, let me explain this first. So, I would like to approve Valerie Bitzer as our tax collector. And I'm going to give you the rate that I have put in the budget. And the reason for the drop in the rate is due to the fact I have been discussing with M&T Bank that M&T Bank, so the rate would drop down to $3,000 for Valerie, but the workload is going to be substantially less. We still have to have a tax collector to balance everything and approve everything, create the warrants. The M&T Bank will handle all the payments. I shouldn't say all the payments, but they will be the address and the drop box on the actual tax bills. They will be mailed to Buffalo, New York. The only fee that we would get charged is a 75-cent fee to mail a receipt if requested by a taxpayer. We have to pay that anyway because it would have to come out of the clerk's office to pay that. And I think we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of about 68 cents that the clerk's fee would be. So we're looking at 7 cents tax bill difference. Factor that in, over 8,200 receipts that could possibly be mailed out. We're looking at about $575 that we would have to pay to have it done, but that work is now not being done by the clerk. There will also be an online payment option through BAS. Val has been working with BAS to get that up and running, and I think it's obviously the wave of the future to make it easier. There's no cash payments. There's no cash transactions. That will also affect a drop in our insurance rate, not a great amount, but a small amount. And that was the thought that I had going forward. And I think it's the most efficient way to go these days. I mean, school taxes are paid. A lot of municipal towns and villages are doing it. School taxes were paid this year. If you checked your bill and you mailed it, it had to go to Pennsylvania. But M&T service for this, in New York, although it's in Buffalo, New York. So.
Question, will residents still be able to come see Val in person and pay? And you'll still accept the credit cards like it has been in years past, but they had to pay the fee? That will be, as long as that's good, I'm okay with it.
Something new M&T Bank is doing, or they've
No,
always...
M&T has done it for quite some time. They have it down to a science.
It's all software.
What's that?
It's mostly software that updates in software for them.
Yeah, I mean, you provided them with our 2021 roll, which they asked for, right? So, listen, I'm going to tell you, it's a complicated process. I think you have to have so much experience to go through this. Val has done it for 3 years. And I would hope, that the fact that it's streamlined now, the numbers of people that actually come at those people. Considerably. So it makes it easier for everyone. And obviously with COVID, the less people in the building, the better off everybody is. So I'll make a motion to move forward with that and approve that.
Second.
Let me just clarify it. So it would be appointing Val Bitzer as the tax collector at a rate of $3,000 per year.
Normally it was usually always the town clerk, but since we had the changes and Val's filling in and she had the experience, I think
Oh,
that's the
wait,
best.
let's get one thing straight, Rick. Val's not filling in. Val is the town clerk. She's the town clerk.
Oh, I understand.
Okay.
Perhaps but, since the changes at this point, and then she has the experience of doing this, so I have no problem with that.
Yeah, and that goes through December 31
Right.
of 2021.
Right,
Yeah.
because who we're going to have, you have to have it. So I think it's the only right thing to do.
Okay.
I'll second the motion.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next item up is approval of the consulting agreement between the M Group, which is Mayor Marquet and Justice. The fee last year was it was $55,000 per year. The monthly fee going forward, starting January 2022, will be $3,583. I had a conversation with them, explained our situation, as is the case with many municipalities, and we've negotiated a fee which is $43,000, which is a $12,000 savings to the town. They'll still review monthly bank reconciliations, review monthly journal entries, assist with preparation of annual budgets. They'll prepare the monthly internal profit and loss statements, including budget versus actual analysis. They'll prepare the annual AUD and other tasks at the town of Monroe, and the M Group agree that are consistent with the scope of the engagement. The only difference is instead of coming up quarterly, they will come up every 4 months. So they're not going to come up for one visit. And we've had a great relationship with them. They do a great amount of work, and they are very good working with O'Connor Davies, who handles our audits. So that contract is for $43,000. I'm going to need a motion and a second to approve that.
Second for discussion.
Well, you got to make a motion, because I can't. I have to sign.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, so Bingham second. We also do the bookkeeping for Moodna. Do they do the reconciliations or anything with that? No, it's just
No.
strictly the towns? Okay,
Strictly the towns.
okay. No additional questions, no.
Call the question then.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Thank you.
We have to do another one for you to sign it, or no?
Well, that was what that was.
That was what that-
Correct, Mary?
I thought that was for the acceptance. That was just to accept. Now we have to do one for you to sign, I believe.
I'll
correct?
make a motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the contract after review by the town attorney.
All right,
I'll
Cologne
second.
second. All right, Sal second.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Next item up is the IMA for dog control services with the town of Woodbury and the town of Monroe. The fees are this year for 2022 are $26,987.28. So we need a motion to approve that and have the supervisor sign it.
Make that motion to approve for the $26,987.28.
I'll second.
Question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Cancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay. So moved. Okay, license agreement with the Warwick Valley Humane Society. So, bear with me a second. I'm going to need a motion to approve this. So basically, it's $3,650 per month. It's a license agreement that essentially is open-ended, but we've been told it's going to be approximately 8 to 10 months. They will be using our former dog shelter kennels. There's 15 of them there. They will have use of the washer dryer area and the reception area, desk and sink and cabinets that are there. They will also be paying the difference in last year's monthly electric and water bill, and we will be paying what we paid last year for that particular month. So, for example, if November 2020 it was $230, and this year it's $245, they will be paying the difference of $15. The maintenance staff has already cleared out the area. It's in great condition. They cleaned it, organized everything. I've met 2 times with Sue Barron from the Warwick Humane Society. They're ecstatic about this because they had to actually house their cats, I believe, in a retail location that was vacant. So this is really good. There's a couple of items that they've asked us to tend to, and that was increasing the height of some of the walls between the animals so they don't have any issues with each other. That's really the gist of it. I don't know if anybody has any questions. Okay. Both approval of the contract as attorney review, and then
Separate motion, so I'll make the motion to approve the contract with Warwick Valley Humane Society for $36.50 per month.
I'll second.
question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
And then I'll make the motion for the supervisor to sign the contract subject to attorney review.
Cologne, a
Second
second.
Cologne, second that. Question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
Okay, so moved.
That's good.
All right. Up, charging stations at Town Hall, Councilman Cologne.
Yes, sir. Boy, has this been a long haul, huh? Okay, as we have in front of everybody, finally we got it straightened out with all the grants that we're going to get on this. There were 2 separate grants that were pending. One for the stations themselves, and the second was for the installation. That was going to all be done by plug-in station. In front of you, you have the breakdown. And there's a O&R Electric, 90% of the make-ready, which takes out $11,709. And the total that you have in front that I've given you a new sheet on, there was a $1,000 charge for just the signage. I think our highway department can put it up for less than $1,000. It brings the total cost of down to $24,121. Of that, we pay 20% of the cost, and that brings it down to approximately $5,000. Approximately, I spoke to John Cherney. They would only have to put in a backhoe for 4 hours and 1 guy. Plug-in will be we'll be setting up the operation to attach everything to the station. And, excuse me, they'll also be the point person for O&R on this point. So our cost would come down to just under $6,000 total cost after the rebates for the incentives that we got. What we do is we have to pay out the 25 and then we get the rebates back. We've already been approved for approximately $20,000 for the rebate on the stations, on the 2 stations.
Again,
We're approved for 2.
oh, okay. All right.
One is for the installation, and the second is for the stations. So if you take the 24,121 times it by 20%, and you come out to $4,824. Add to that another $600, $700 by the highway. You're still under $6,000. Comes out to less than $1,500 a plug, and you got 4 plugs. And this price includes everything covered for the first 2 years, including the extended warranty.
They also deal with O&R.
Yes, plug-in station will be the lead people on that. And that was right into the spot that we talked about, that you saw right here. That's correct.
Pulling off that pole, right?
Pulling off that pole.
Coming through the parking lot.
Yep.
Okay. And are there any costs going out past 2 years? Are there any other costs, hidden costs that we're not?
Well, it wouldn't be a hidden cost. In other words, you have your 2-year prepaid commercial cloud plan, and that's the support. So that would be $2,500 for a 2-year period for the 4 plugs. In other words, that gets all of your information off the stations.
That's in here?
That's in here. That's covered for the first 2 years.
And then what's the cost after that?
That would be the same 2,500.
Listen, I just was going through this, and I have a little bit of experience with this from kind of overseeing these that we have installed.
You have at the school, right?
Yeah, down at Fordham. So it seems like, if I'm reading this correctly, it's 1 unit with 2 ports, and that's what they're...
That's correct. 1 unit with 2 ports.
It's 1 unit with 2 ports, and it looks like they're charging us per port instead of per unit, which is how we do it. So I'm just looking at it. If you add up their commercial, like their plans, so we're going to be like 6,000 in bi-yearly cost that we're going to have to incur. And I can tell you that I know from having these, you don't come anywhere close to recapping, because I assume these are going to be public units, so if they're public, then anyone can charge there. But I mean, generally speaking, I mean, if you get, we have 16 ports, and we get
16's a lot
like
of ports.
$100 a month, you know what I mean,
Right.
roughly. So it's not, we're going to be in the hole, I'm just saying from that perspective. And the fact that everything is based on port instead of unit is kind of a little concerning to me. I think that's something, and I don't know if that's something that this company plug-in is. Are you familiar with this company? No, I mean, so when we did them, ChargePoint did the whole thing, their own people. Well, I mean, we ran the lines, we did the whole, they did the connection, but it was a ChargePoint, and it was through a NYSERDA grant.
Right, that's basically what you have here.
Yeah, and so I mean, that's going to cost us. I just want to make sure we know that those
Right,
costs are going to be. That's not going to be free.
No, I
And then
didn't
as
say it
far
was
as
gonna be
The other
free.
thing is, it's all this is all based on an O&R review and pre-approval. That $11,000 709 credit, which again, that's assuming that they approve it. So I'm just kind of throwing some. I just kind of know how these things run, and they always sound great, and it is a great thing to have. Don't get me wrong, but the devil's in the details, and I think that this per port charge instead of per unit charge is a little excessive. And I think maybe, listen, I know companies exist.
Well,
to
it's
make
covered
money.
for the first 2 years. We can probably go with another company on that if that's a problem.
Well, so basically, once you go with it, ChargePoint is the one that they're the only ones that can service the unit, do the cloud stuff, updates, and all that. They're the only ones because it's basically their unit, So that's just. I just saw this, just came in tonight, so I'm just looking at these.
All right, well, take time to look at it, but here's the thing, and here's why we're looking at it. Electric cars are coming no matter what we do at this point. I don't see a complete changeover to the total vehicles becoming obsolete from gas in 2 years. No, that's not what I'm saying. But if you buy an electric car, if we purchased an electric car, say for the building inspector, we get $7,500 off on that vehicle, per vehicle, correct?
That does everything to do with the charging station.
I'm not
You know
saying
what
it
I mean?
does. I'm just saying for the total cost of operations
Yeah.
for the vehicle. Right now, we're paying approximately what, four plus? Plus gasoline, plus oil change. We have other expenses that are in.
No, the oil changes come with that lease.
Okay,
Yeah, maintenance comes.
all right, but not the gas. But all I'm saying at this point is that we put in for these 2 charging stations right now. We're not putting in 16 of them. I think that's
Well,
kind of crazy at this
It's
point.
one station with 2 ports.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just saying, from looking at this, my only concern is, or the only thing I would say is, again, I'm just looking at this without really, going in depth with it, is that this, maybe it's plug-in or whoever the contact is, maybe some of these charges should be discussed with them, whether they are, and again, I understand they exist to make money, but we're gonna, with what they're charging us just for these plans, we're gonna be, we're gonna be paying for this. We're not gonna break even or any of that. So just something to keep in mind. And then I'd like to see what O&R is actually, that we have a hard commitment before we do it, and then they say, no, we're not gonna do it, and then, 11 grand is not coming our way. And so, I mean, those are just some observations on my part,
So let me ask you this, Rick. So it says in here at the bottom, electrical make ready. It says site preparation for 4 charging ports.
Well, that's what Mike had said. In other words, they're talking about the ports as opposed to the installation of each machine, because each port
I know that, but I thought you
has to
said,
be wired.
I thought you said we're getting 2 ports.
No, we're getting 2 stations with 2 ports.
With 2 ports each, okay.
Right. I mean, it gets a little confusing with the verbiage, and I think they should say, plugs instead of ports.
Yeah.
And
Listen, my hesitation comes from one thing, the debacle we have with the solar farm.
Listen, I understand that 100%.
And that's what is making this budget this year extremely hard, because we're looking at what is probably somewhere a 3 times cost for electric for us this year. And I'm scared of this stuff because I don't know enough about it. I'm not an expert on it, and I don't want to make a move that's going to end up being a thorn in our side.
No, I
going
happen to
forward. And
agree.
I understand, charging stations and electric cars are coming in.
They're coming no matter what.
And the wave of the future, but I don't. Listen, I don't have enough information. I'd like someone who's a neutral party to come here, maybe, and explain it to us, so that we can understand what future charges the town is going to be responsible for, because it's obvious that solar farm was a debacle from all facets.
Well, there's a lot more with that. I mean, we dealt with some pretty shady characters on that one, and I think that they raked the town over the coals on that one. I mean, and I think that's a warning that goes out to even the homeowners, that when they hear from people about putting solar panels on their house, they better be careful.
Yeah, but the issue with that was, when it was approved, I guess back in 15, we were locked in. So I think when I had looked into it, a consultant at the time would have cost us like $35,000 to do a review on it. And we didn't have that kind of money at that time.
No, it wasn't worth it at
But
that
yet
time.
we were locked in, and in hindsight, maybe we should have hired the consultant. So, but.
What I can do is I'll talk to the grant writer about seeing what it would get a neutral party to look at this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And then I can put it through. Like I said, at this point, what we are paying right now would be the $6,000. The carrying charge would be, as Mr. McGinn said, with the on the cloud issue and the information that comes off of servicing the machines.
Right.
That's what you're talking about. But we're not getting 16 machines, Mr. McGinn.
No. Listen, I know.
That's
I hear
pretty
you.
crazy.
I mean, so I'm just saying, I just want to make sure we're not getting hosed by getting charged per port as opposed to per unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
and listen, I know that people that are exist to make money.
No.
Any
Any company you deal with, they're not a nonprofit org, no matter what.
Yeah, that's my only. I just know that I would listen, whether it's they come in or someone else. I just think that we need to get a good idea from them, a better idea than this, and then have what the actual, had the grant next.
Well, what you want is the 5-year back-out plan of how much it would cost.
That
And
would
in other
kinda
words,
be
after the
nice.
2-year plan is
That
what
would
you're
kind of be
saying.
nice too, because like, again, just I know how kind of these things run. It looks great, and then I just think some of these charges are kind of a little excessive,
Yeah, well, 11,000 for the installation, I don't blame you, but
Yeah, that's
at least we get that back, or was,
Yeah.
But I understand what you're talking about as far as the charges going forward per plug as opposed to per station.
I think that might just be, listen, it's like when you buy a car, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean with buying a
They're gonna load you
car,
up,
I
and
don't-
then you gotta say, oh, maybe we wanna do this per unit and not per plug, and maybe
This
we wanna do
company on
this.
state bid or no? Are they on state bid, the company we're talking about?
Yeah.
All right. So you'll,
I
I
can,
hate to keep doing this, Rick, because I know you're working hard on it, but
well, I mean, don't forget, that's when I had you out there along with John, because they first said we weren't going to get it, and then they came back and then said we would. I mean, even Caleb was, our grant writer was going a bit back on that, and then finally it came through that we're going to get it. So, I mean, I understand your hesitation from that perspective, but I don't think you can get anything. I mean, if they're charging by the, what is it again? The port as opposed to the station, I don't know if any other company's going to be making that. I think they all go by the same thing, as by the port. Yeah?
Ours don't, because if you're certain, if you're basically, those charges are for the unit, like the two lines come off it. So it's like, that unit is what, if the unit's not working, then both ports aren't working. You know what I mean? It's not like one works and one doesn't.
Right.
And this way, and most of the repairs are like this. You know what I mean? They do this, and then it's back up.
In other words, it's all software related.
Cloud, all internet, Wi-Fi.
Well, I basically see the problem is this: eventually, we're going to have to get them.
Yeah, and I think it's good to get them, but I just want to make sure we're not getting hosed on it. We're not getting,
Well, you're saying as far as the past the 2 years, that's your
Well, I
concern.
mean, even the 2 years, I'm saying, like, if you look, we're going to be paying that number, that roughly $6,000 every 2 years, and I can tell you that it's going to cost us. We're not going to break even. We're not going to make money on it. It's going to cost us, and so we just have to go into that clear-eyed that it's not going to be a cost-free thing for us by any means.
and I'd like to know what that cost is going to be.
All right.
Yeah, got to plan for the budget.
Yeah, so I've heard. But no, I have no problem with diving into this further and see what it costs past the 2 years that they're giving. And then hopefully I can get maybe even a grant writer to come by and discuss this as a neutral party, because he would know more about that, but we'll see.
All right,
All right?
all right, thank you.
So we can table it for now and
Right.
bring that up in November again. All right?
Hey, yep. All right, item 10.3, just a quick update on the Lake Mombasa land parcels. Both of them are donations, without naming names right now. The first party had a family member pass away who actually owned it, and it's in a trust situation now, correct, counsel? Yeah, okay. And then the second party just wanted to make sure that the town would not sell the parcel in the future, and we've actually agreed to put that in the contract, and that's moving forward with Steve Honan at Brian's office to get that hopefully completed by the end of the year.
Yeah, just to be clear, it would be a reverter, so if the town were to want to sell the property, you couldn't, it would go back to the Humane is the property owner, so that one he's working on right now.
Questions on that? Public comment? Anyone sign up?
No one signed up.
Bobby Zitt didn't sign up? What is he doing here?
I think he would like to see.
All right. Anybody have anything else to add? Nope. Okay. I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Clone, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good night.
So moved. Thank you very much.